Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirits. Hello and welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. Thank you for once again tuning in to another action-packed show, and I'm very excited with this episode as we reconnect with the co-host Kristina Bloom. And what we're going to be talking about in this episode is you don't have to fear the dead. Also in this week's episode, we have the channeling from the world of spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel for spirit to bring their communications through. And then later on in the show, we've got this week's energy forecast reading. So first of all, let's dive deep into today's show. As I say, we're discussing the topic of you don't have to fear the dead. But first of all, can I welcome Kristina Bloom? How are you, Kristina?
Hey, Glenn, I'm doing great. How are you doing? I know I'm seeing you all over the place, on social media, everywhere. I love it.
Oh, bless you. Yeah, I try not to get anybody's backs up with that. But as you know, being self-employed, it's one of the things you have to do, isn't it? You know, to get your work out there. So I'm really well, thank you. Yeah, had a busy month. Well, I say busy month. It's been very, very up and down with the clients, with teaching and recording with the media work. So how's your month been?
Really busy, but I mean, as you know, I travel all over the place. So I have been in 3 different states in the last month. I've done, I think I've done 6 or 7 expos, and a lot of recording. I've been picking up my recording with the new podcast that I'm doing with Red Road Podcast.
Oh, excellent! So where can people find that? Do you want to tell everybody about that?
You know, you can find it on YouTube at Red Road Paranormal, and I've just gotten the podcasts up and running through Podbean. So you can find it on Podbean, or you can find it on Spotify, Google, iTunes, iHeart, and a few others I have never actually heard of before, but it's all part of the package. So it all goes out on Thursdays.
That is brilliant. Well, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to add that to my playlist on Podbean even. So I can't even speak right. What's going off?
That's okay.
Anyway.
You're getting it from me across the pond.
Anyway, let's crack on because I know that you've got a lot of work to do today. So as we say, we're going to be discussing the topic of you don't have to fear the dead. So first of all, I'm going to throw it over to you first, Kristina. Why don't we have to fear the dead?
You know, that's interesting because, you and I both do a lot of mediumship work, right? So we're always helping people connect on the other side. It's really, first of all, it's a very healing experience to be able to talk to your loved ones on the other side. And mostly, you know, when somebody sits down with me and they want to talk to someone who has crossed over, and this has increased to like 80% for me since February. Yeah. People wanting to talk to others on the other side. And mostly what we get is, I love you, I miss you, I'm watching, here's some examples of what I'm seeing happening in your life. And then they give me examples to share so that people know that their loved ones are still connected to them. And there's no fear in that.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a nice vibration to be in, isn't it? I mean, yourself and what I do, we're bridges of communication, aren't we, between the realms, obviously.
We are.
So to feel that love filtering through us as we're delivering that message is a beautiful experience. Definitely. But I agree with you. You know, there's nothing to fear. You know, all of that love and that evidential information that comes through, that proof that they are watching, they are there to help and assist. Definitely.
I love it. I mean, I'm a Reiki master. I've done all kinds of different healing modalities. And I find that mediumship is the most healing modality that I can bring through for anybody. Because when you can heal somebody's heart on an emotional level, it releases other tension and it helps the body to heal in different ways as well.
Beautifully put there. Definitely. I agree with you there. So let's break down the process of this connection from the world of spirit. And I don't know if you agree with me on this one, Kristina, but I find that loved ones will use the thought vibration, for people that maybe aren't as sensitive or a medium or anything like that. They will generally put a thought, an idea, or maybe a song that links them to that individual. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I have noticed that as well. Music especially seems to be really important, bringing through, I'm here, I'm watching, like they'll bring through a song that the two people shared, or maybe the favorite song of either person. It could go either way, the one sitting in front of me or the one on the other side. It's really interesting how much music is used in communication.
It's very healing as well, isn't it? With the frequencies involved with the music, the songs that they are bringing through. So in many respects, in just them hearing that one song, there's messages within the lyrics of the song that maybe that spirit individual wants to convey. And then there's that healing frequency in it. So again, it's all coming from love, isn't it?
It is. It really is. I've had some people who are afraid of what the other person might say on the other side, because this is something that I've been running into a lot. I wasn't there for them when they crossed over. Are they mad at me? Are they angry with me? Are they upset with me? And resoundingly, I don't think I've ever had a spirit on the other side say, yes, you should have been there holding my hand when I crossed over. I've never heard one say that, I don't think. I'm kind of going through my memory, and I don't think I've ever had anyone do that.
That's interesting. The thing is, like animals, most animals, when they know it's their time to transition, they'll generally take themselves away from everything, somewhere quiet. And so if we relate that to a human, we don't want to be a pest to anybody. We don't want to bother anybody, do we? We don't want to give them that emotional upheaval. So why would a spirit person chastise somebody for not being there when they're passed?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Plus, I mean, if I think about when it's my time to transition, I don't want to put anyone in the position of having to be there with me, because I wouldn't want them to be traumatized by going through that experience. And some people find that experience to be beautiful, and other people find it to be very difficult. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I can just share a little bit of something with you. I was present when my late father passed away. I was right at the side of him. And it was a sense of, there was a beautiful energy in the room. It was a sense of peace, tranquility, and a releasement at the same time, a releasement from his suffering.
Yes.
But it was it's a memory I'll never forget. And, emotionally, mentally as well. So luckily enough, with the work that we both do, it doesn't bother me that much. But I could imagine that if I was somebody that didn't do this work, that could trigger all sorts of anxieties, maybe.
I agree. And some people, like I said, find it to be a beautiful experience, and others find it to be traumatic. I think part of that will probably be what was happening during the transition.
Yeah.
Did they peacefully go to sleep, or were they in an accident, or you know what I'm saying? So yeah. I think that would have a lot to do with it.
Yeah, every situation's different, definitely.
Yes.
So let's talk about from spirit's perspective. So for a spirit, a loved one, or, a family member or whoever from the world of spirit, the amount of effort that they have to make to come down and let their presence be known to us in this dimension. Shall we talk about that? I mean, what's your viewpoint on that?
I find that it takes more effort if the person that is sitting across the table from me is asking for signs. I feel like it's more difficult for the spirit to maybe give physical signs.
Yeah.
But to show up, basically, it's an attachment to that person. So let's say you came to me to get a reading and talk to your father, which, of course, you don't need any help with. But as an example, I feel like because your father loves you, it wouldn't be difficult for him to make his presence known because he's connected to you through love.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's not that difficult as far as for them to talk to a medium, or I use talk to loosely, however the medium perceives or however they transmit.
Yeah.
I feel like that doesn't seem to be all that difficult for most of them, but showing signs like, moving things, changing radio stations, doing that sort of thing could be a little bit more difficult just because it's non-physical affecting the physical world.
Yeah, they've got to learn how to do that, their side of things, from my understanding, because obviously they haven't got a physical form, so it's all intentional thought and frequency work, isn't it? The way that they move things and change things around, it's all done through their intentions.
Yes.
I suppose if we look at it from our point of view as mediums, we have to hold and set that intention to connect with the world of spirit. And you know yourself, when you've been working a full day doing the mediumship, how sort of draining that can be. So imagine that from their perspective.
Oh, I agree. I agree. And I sometimes, I don't know if you have this experience, but sometimes I have to explain to the person who comes to me for the reading how it works, because this isn't dial a ghost. You know what I mean? Like it's...
Yes, yeah, I know what you're saying.
They might not be available. They might be doing something.
Well, it's free will, isn't it? What they're operating from. And so we can't, as mediums, we can't make demands. We can set an intention and ask, by all means, put the request out there. But, we're sort of like, we just have to be open, don't we? We have to be open, give what we're getting. And
be open to the different ways that we experience their information, because just because we do it one way doesn't mean that the spirit on the other side is going to do it the same way we do. I feel like we need to be open to that.
That's interesting you bring that up. I don't know about yourself, but I've had a few spirit communicators for clients, and I'm describing them. I can see them, with the third eye. I'm experiencing their energy, but as I'm asking them questions, they're not talking to me. And this is because that individual in the world of spirit was a very shy person. They don't know who I am. And until you build up that rapport, then they're going to open up a little bit more. And they may work with symbolism rather than speech. That's just been my experience, the way that, as you say, they work differently.
I agree. Yeah, I've had experiences like that too. The other thing that I have been noticing, and I don't know if this is something that happens with you too, if I'm sitting with a physical person and someone comes through that they wanted to talk to, but that spirit isn't addressing me, is addressing them directly, I can sense them, I can feel them, I can see them, I can't hear them until they focus their attention to me. Then I can hear them. Otherwise, I can just see them talking to the other person who is not hearing anything.
That's interesting. No, I haven't. I've never had that encounter.
That's been really recent for me, maybe in the last year or two.
That is very interesting. You can see them having that conversation. No, I haven't had that yet. I'm going to watch out for that one. Sounds very fascinating.
Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
I bet that's like the silent movies, isn't it? When you're lip reading, you're looking at their gestures, trying to work out what they're wanting to convey.
But as soon as I get their attention and I get them to focus to me and understand that to get the message through, I need to receive the message, once that happens, then they're on it. They're good.
They're
then,
okay.
like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't understand. That's how this works. And then they will talk to me and then to the other person.
That's fascinating. I'm going to look out for that one, Kristina. Also, talking about on the same lines with this subject, people that aren't mediumistic or sensitive, I've found by talking to people that they have visitations from their loved ones whilst they're in dream state.
Yes, a lot of that. I hear a lot of that.
And again, it's going back to that path of least resistance. So when the subconscious mind is switched off, there's no resistance there. For some people, that's in their sleep process, isn't it?
It is. I have people tell me that, well, my mom used to come to me in my dreams shortly after she passed, but I haven't seen her in a long time. I don't know why until I get a hold of the mom and ask her why.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's that the person on the receiving end just isn't remembering the dream. Sometimes that's the case.
That's it, isn't it? And this is why we all should have a dream journal or a phone at the side of the bed of some sort we can record as soon as we wake up that encounter. Because usually, as you're probably aware, there's lots of symbolism in these dreams with the loved ones. So they're trying to convey a message that way, aren't they?
They are. And sometimes the symbolism isn't very clear.
Yeah. It is a language of its own, isn't it? Symbolism.
Yes, it is. And everyone has their own symbolism language. So I might not understand somebody else's symbolism.
That's very true. Very true indeed. So the level that it takes, like we've just been discussing, of effort from the world of spirit, I mean, if we unpick that a little bit further, you know, they have to come through the veil. They have to lower their vibration, don't they, to come into our dimension.
They do.
Then they've got to blend their frequency or match it to either the medium or the person they're wanting to talk to. And then that person's got to be in the right frame of mind, the right emotions. Any one of these variables can, I suppose, interrupt the signal, the process there.
I think it would. You know, it's funny because I don't really think about all those steps when it's happening. But yes, those are there. There's a lot of different steps to go through to get from where they are to where the person can hear them. That's a lot.
Yeah, there's also that level of grief can halt the process as well, can't it? You know, that's...
yes.
I suppose once we've dealt with that, I mean, everybody's different with grief, as you know yourself. There's no right or wrong answer to it. But as it subsides, then this is where we're more open to having these experiences, isn't it?
It is, yes. And grief can be a huge block because I'm not sure why. My theory is because when we're in grief, we're in a very heavy energy and it's hard for them to match that heavy energy.
Yeah,
that's my theory.
That sounds right. Yeah. So let's talk about when we have that connection, when we're acceptant of the loved one or the friend or a spirit coming through, getting into that process of observing and allowing them to tell their story. Now, as you know yourself, they'll tell their story in numerous ways, as we've already discussed. So what's your protocol, shall we say, from allowing spirits to tell their story to you?
Well, first of all, when I'm doing a medium reading for someone, mediumship reading, I connect my heart center or my heart chakra to the other person's heart chakra for the duration of the reading.
Yeah.
The key there is to remember to pull back out of their heart chakra when you're finished. Yeah. But I find it easier to connect to their loved ones when I connect directly to them, particularly in an expo or a spirit mind-body fair, something like that. It's easier to get the correct information when I connect heart to heart than to just kind of look around and see who's hanging around, because I could be picking, if there's 200 people in the room, I could be picking up anybody's information if I'm not connected to the person I'm reading for. So that's kind of step one.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Definitely.
Get into that one. But also to be open to the different clairs.
Yes.
When someone is coming through, when a spirit is coming through, because just because I'm clairvoyant and I can usually see, that doesn't mean they're going to want to show themselves.
That's right. They could have had a traumatic passing, couldn't they? Or they might not have their confidence. They're still finding their feet, so to speak.
Exactly.
As a spirit being, yeah?
Exactly. And I always try to encourage them to understand that they're in a safe space with me. I'm not here to hurt anybody. I'm here to help you talk to your loved one, whatever message you need to get through. And I have also found that what's important to spirit is often very different than what's important to the person I'm doing the reading for. Especially, in the first year after passing. Can you ask them where this piece of paper is? They don't care anymore. They're gone.
Yeah.
They don't care about that piece of paper.
Yeah, it's irrelevant.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. What is your experience in helping spirit coming through? Because I know we all do things a little bit differently.
Yeah. Well, we spoke before how similar we are. And actually, I was smiling when you were saying that you connect with the heart. And this is something that I do first. And I don't know about you, but I imagine a cord, like a telephone cord, coming from my heart into theirs, but from the side of their rib cage, because a lot of people put a subconscious barrier up in front of their heart chakra. So I sneakily go in from the side of the rib cage and behind the heart and connect in that way. So like you, I do that, and then I pick up the client's energy, and moving from there, usually when I've got that link, like your good self there, I start to feel the presence of a loved one connected to them. For me, it could appear at the left-hand side of me, which I would assume, well, I say assume, I would locate the left side to the mum's side of the family. If they stand to the right of me, it would be dad's side of the family. So I kind of work out just by the energy where it's going, who they're associated with that client. And then I start to get the feelings, the emotional feelings of that spirit individual coming through. And I get the characteristics, and I allow the characteristics to come through. And in doing so, you're holding that link, aren't you there? You're holding that vibration, that energy, and you're building up that rapport with that spirit individual. And what I generally find is you keep asking questions and they'll give you a little bit more. And usually, if in my sort of experience, if you're respectful and if it's flowing well and you're holding that link, you will either get their full name or you'll get an initial, whatever they want to tell you, basically. And so I just allow them to tell their story, bring through their evidence that way, and just allow it to flow. And I think the essence of it is not standing in the way, but directing the conversation that you're having with them, if you know what I mean. So that's basically how I allow them to tell their story. And like yourself, they come through using all of the clears. Usually for me, it starts off with a clear sentience, clear feeling, clear sensing, and then it builds up into clairvoyance. And then I'll start to hear the clairaudience coming in, their direct voice. And it kind of works through all of them, doesn't it? I find, anyway.
It does. It does. It really does. The thing is, for me, I rarely get names. Rarely.
Yes. Yeah. I know what
you're saying. I will get all kinds of evidence, but I won't get names. It's weird. Yeah.
And you can be asking and asking. Mm-hmm. But when you think about it, this is the way that I operate. It would mean more to your client to bring that person's characteristics to life in this dimension than just a name. If you were just to say, oh yeah, I've got so-and-so, okay, you could have got their name from anywhere. You could have got their name from a phone directory or the internet or something and just said the name, couldn't you? But actually building their profile, their characteristics, their personality, their likes, their dislikes, the way that they wore their hair or the certain items of clothing irritates them. To me, that's more evidential than just saying a name. I don't know about yourself.
I agree. I agree. The other thing is, I mean, you know, if the spirit is someone who had a common name,
exactly,
you can pick a common name out of the air.
I've got John.
Yeah.
How many times people say that?
Yeah, I've got John, or I've got James, or I've got Bob, or I've got Mary. You know, if it's a very common name, then you're just, I don't know. I feel like if it's a name like that, you're just kind of taking a stab in the dark. And I don't know, that just doesn't say much to me. I agree. The evidence, a lot of times what I will get is that the spirit will give me examples of what's happening in that person's life currently.
Yeah.
And that seems to have a really big impact. When they're like, how did they know that? Because they're there with you.
Yeah. It's a lovely thing to witness as well, isn't it, as a medium?
It is.
Because you see the tears of joy, not of sadness, tears of joy building up in your client's eyes there.
Yes.
And that smile that appears on their face there as well. It's such a beautiful thing to witness, that level of healing.
It is. Occurring. I love it.
But let's talk about when we are working with spirit, or, you know, allowing spirit to come forward, whether you're sensitive, whether you're a medium, whether you're not aware of that. Let's talk about the level of respect and common decency that we have to convey to the world of spirit rather than throwing fear in their direction. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. Ethics are so important when we're doing this. And that's where respect comes in. And that's where just being who we are and being human and being spirit as well within our human bodies and connecting. I don't see any point in being, I mean, if you're going to go looking for something, why be afraid of what you're looking for?
Exactly. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. I guess thrill seekers do that. And I've probably been in that category when I was younger. I have no interest in doing that now. I've got work to do now. You know, I think that's the difference.
Exactly.
I'm here to do the work. Yeah. But throwing fear in, that's not okay. I mean,
you're going to attract that energy back, aren't you? First of all.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever you put out is what you get back, and it's usually tenfold. I have had a few experiences over the years where the spirit that comes through is someone who had been abusive to the person sitting across the table from me. And then that sparks fear in them because it brings up old stuff or stuff that they're, you know, experiences that they are working to heal from. And that's not who they wanted to talk to. Usually when that had been an abusive person comes through as a spirit, I'm going to say better than 90% of the time they're trying to make amends. Yeah. They're trying to say, I'm sorry, or I was wrong, I shouldn't have done that, blah, blah, blah. But very often, depending on where the other person is in their healing process, they may not be open to hearing that.
Yeah.
So it could spark some fear in them.
But yeah, you know, that releasement from the situations and to so that they can carry on their journey as a spirit being as well.
Yes.
But yeah, showing that level, the courtesy, you know, the please, the thank yous, not move this, move that, say this, come here, you know, that level of common courtesy is what's required. You know, treat them how you want to be treated, I would say.
Right. And that kind of moves it from healing mediumship reading into the paranormal. And it drives me crazy when paranormal researchers or investigators do that. Seriously, do you want people talking to you like that? Stop that. Exactly. Be nice. Be courteous.
Do they call it clickbait when it's on the internet? It's that sort of thing, isn't it? It is. Gets the views, gets the people hooked in, but it's not the way to go about, you know, communicating, is it? In all fairness.
No, I agree with you.
Well,
if you wouldn't talk to your neighbor like that, don't talk to the spirits like that.
Exactly. Well, Kristina, this time has flown. So can I invite you just to share how people can find you, contact you if they're wanting any readings or anything like that? Can you share your
Sure,
address?
absolutely. The easiest way to get a hold of me is probably through Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. So I am on all three. Facebook, it's Kristina L. Bloom. You have to put the middle initial in there because I have some other accounts I haven't been able to get closed yet, so the initial is important. It's Kristina Bloom SA on Instagram and Kristina Bloom 7 on TikTok. And you can message me through any of those.
Kristina, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure to deep dive with you once again for this month. So thank you so much for bringing your wisdom through today. And I look forward to what we're going to be discussing next month.
Right. We have to figure that out, don't we?
We do indeed. Take
Awesome.
care then, Kristina. Thank
you. Thank you, Glenn. And thank you for inviting me to co-host this with you. I so enjoy doing this with you.
It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. Well, now we're going to be moving into the next part of the show, which is this week's channeling from the world of spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel for spirit to bring their communications through. And what I've observed, should I say, these past few weeks is the energy or the veil is getting a lot thinner. And I'm finding the communications more stronger. Spirit are coming through with great intensity. And they're just finding it so easy to come through, which is an absolute blessing to feel their vibrations. As I feel as though I'm receiving healing by allowing them to come through, by sitting in this space for them to come through and bring this wisdom. So there's a lot of changes happening for us all at this moment in time. So I'm very much looking forward to what Spirit have to say in this next communication about the situation. So sit back, relax, take some notes if you want to, and embrace the healing frequencies within the voices of the vessels and enjoy this week's channeling from Spirit.
Hello, and what an excellent time to be alive. We come to you with the great news that you're on the transformational roller coaster of planet Earth. All of you that are listening and taking this opportunity to listen to this transmission will feel the very changing in your atmospheric pressure, your emotional energy, your thought vibrations, and you'll witness that there's a time of change as all of these untruths are coming to the surface. You will witness people's mood changes. You will understand that this is not anything against you personally. It's the fact that the vibrations are winkling these old beliefs and these old energies up to the surface so that you can see the truth of what is really going on. Now, to some of you, this may be quite alarming, as you'll see people that you consider to be meek and mild and gentle and kind to be coming forward with an element of frustration and a little bit of aggression in the understanding and evolution of these changes. We say to you that don't get involved with this energy. Don't allow yourself to be drained or pulled into it. Simply observe, keep it to yourself, and focus on your own inward journey, as this is where the ultimate shift begins. Without you doing the inner work, there can be no outer work. And on many levels, most of you have been doing the inner work, along and in conjunction with the universe. And this is what has sparked this level of change. But we say that this has been going on for quite some time, and it's now reaching a crescendo where everything is right in front of you, so that you can now observe it a little bit more. We also want to let you know that at the moment the changes are for the better, and that it's allowing you to start and say to yourself, no, I don't want this anymore. I'm not aligning with this energy anymore. whatever that anymore is, whatever you're not aligning to it is a very personal journey and one that you can only take, but you will notice that change and contrast in your experience to the point where you start and shift your focus on the things that you want to align with, the things that feel right to you. And in this moment that we're referring to, the now moment that you are experiencing, you'll all be going through this. It's a beautiful time to be alive, as we keep mentioning here, as you can create exactly what you want in your own vista, in your own perception. And in many respects, that's what it all boils down to. Perception, what you perceive, what truth is right with you, what is aligning with you. You see, when you focus on those things, you'll bring more of that into your current vibration. There'll be a lot of people around you that won't feel necessarily comfortable in your vibration. Now, please do not take this personally. Simply know that they're on their path and their journey and they're figuring themselves out. And anything that doesn't match who they are as an individual at that moment in time, like you, they will push away. So do not take this personally. It's all about the inner journey and the opening and expansion and acceptance of these changes. So that's what I wanted to come forward today to talk to you about and just make you aware of these changes that are occurring. Now we have another communicator that is wanting to come through and share some more wisdom with you. So I look forward to communicating with you some point in the up and coming future. Thank you and bye for now.
There's something great to be said about personal development, and this is that there's no set time pattern. There's no set agenda. You do it when you feel it. And when you feel it and focus on that feeling, then this is when these changes occur. It's such a beautiful thing to witness, as every soul on the planet right now will be going through this process, as we've already said. But also, can we make you aware of what isn't spoke about enough, and that is the vibration of love, the vibration of harmony, truth, bliss, peace and tranquility. A lot of that is pushed to one side where it comes down to media and social exchanges for fear of looking ridiculous or being made to feel ridiculous or ridiculed in any manner by talking and opening up about these subjects of love and peace and tranquility and beauty. We say to you that there's going to be a big shift in this movement where people will find it more comfortable to talk about these things, where they can open up more and show the true essence of who they are, allowing their heart to open up and not feeling ashamed or embarrassed by talking about these subjects. Now, for some of you, this will be a beautiful time in your evolution. The fact that you don't have to hide away anymore. The fact that you can speak your truth. The fact that you can show that gentle side of yourself and not have to put that armor of protection around yourself of fear, again, of ridicule and what people might say, think or do in your direction. Instead, you'll have that confidence to speak of how it feels. The vibration of love is very different for everybody. Most people consider it to be romantic love. Most other people feel it's connected to family love. But we say to you that love comes in many forms. Purity, emotions, alignment. And what we say to you as well in these moments is that love will feel so much better than all of the opposite of that. What you've been told, what you've been led to believe, that focusing on the negative that you hear in the media. What you will find, however, as these vibrations, these changes in love frequencies, is that you will be attracting more love into your vibration.
This love can come in the form of respect, mutual understanding, mutual respect between two individuals, not necessarily connected romantically or anything of that nature, but simply that ultimate respect, that soul connection, that appreciation for one another. But having said that, there's going to be more connections occurring in connection with soulmates and also romantic liaisons and love. What we mean is more so now than ever, there's going to be people gravitating towards one another, whereas before the vibrations and the timing of the situation hasn't been right. There's going to be a lot of beautiful soul rekindlings of beautiful soul relationships, like a love and a romantic love that's never been experienced before. So it's a beautiful time to be alive, to experience these things, as this love can take you and your partner. If you are in a relationship or you're wanting a relationship, your partner in question will also raise in vibration, as will you. You will complement one another far beyond anything you've ever encountered before. And that level of telepathy, the thought vibration, the exchange, the knowing between the two parties will be stronger than ever, to the point, as we've said, there's going to be a lot of mutual respect there. So in previous relationships, there's been discord, disharmony, and there's been chastisement and judgment about the other parties having a different opinion to the other party, if you know what we're trying to say. Whereas this and these relationships will be more harmonious. There'll be a level of respect and that equal opportunity that's coming. So we wanted to raise your awareness of this vibration of love and the speaking and opening your hearts to these new experiences. But I'm going to go because there's somebody else wanting to come through. Thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity to step forward and speak these truths with you. Goodbye for now.
Oh, it's so lovely to come through in this manner. As you can hear, we're all very, very incredibly excited today, as the energy is changing on such a rapid rate that it's making it a lot easier for us, the other side of the veil, to come forward into your dimension. Not only is it easier for us, but also it's easier for you. For example, the communicator and the vessel who is allowing these transmissions to come forward. There has been a change and a shift in his vibration just by sitting and allowing and observing and just being in the vibration that we're bringing forward. You'll notice a shift in the communication has got more precise, less labored, and more flowing. And this is because this ultimate change in the vibrations. Now also I want to say that in the up and coming weeks to come, there's going to be an ending of what you would describe as the old vibrations of the earth plane. There's going to be a change in your monetary system, and people are going to be recognizing that change, as things will be devaluing, because people will be observing what the value, the true essence of the value things are to them, rather than what's being dictated to them, that the value of a certain item or a service or something of that nature costs this amount because they've said so. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be in disagreement with the pricing structure, and instead they will elect to choose to pay with what feels right for them to pay for that service, almost going back to the old technique of bartering. And this will be most peculiar for those of you that are in observance of these changes. However, this is how humanity will restructure their well-being, will claim their divinity, and also align with vibration. Because when you align with vibration, no longer will you pay for certain items. like we say, that aren't in alignment with your truth, you certainly will either leave them be or you will focus on something else. But anyway, that's by the by. I've come forward just to share this level of love and respect for you all and let you know about how things are changing for the better. However, there's those of you that will encounter a period of frustration, and this is because you're pushing against the tide of change. We say to those of you that try to fit things in a box and be very organized indeed in your lifetime, that it's a time of resting, a time of observing, and a time of allowing. And when you move out of the way, you will find that life will work for you rather than you pushing and draining your energy and also leading yourself down a merry dance of frustration. So to summarize, it's time for you to rest, be okay with resting, and be open to receiving new communications, new ideas, new inspirations that you can interject into not only your life, but the lives of those around you, by you leading a strong and powerful example of how to exist in these new frequencies. We thank you for listening to all our ramblings today, and we hope you find some nuggets of wisdom in what we communicate to you. So we leave you with our love and blessings. Goodbye for now.
Again, and what a fantastic communication there from Spirit. All three of those communications. Interesting to hear about the changes in our emotions and our thoughts, and witnessing the changes in others. People's frustrations coming out to the surface there, and just holding that space for clarity to come in there. But nice to hear that these changes are for the better, and this is our truth that's coming through as well. Nice to hear about personal development, and when it feels right for us to go with the flow, and the love vibrations that are coming through are going to be more acceptable in conversation in general society, which is an absolute boom to hear, isn't it, so to speak. And it's going to allow us to stop hiding our sensitivity away there as well. And again, hearing that last communicator talking about Spirit of finding it a lot easier to communicate and come through with us there as the energy is flowing a lot better. And finally, to hear that change in the monetary system as we're going to change our value, what we perceive our value on things are, and we're going to determine that rather than accepting the general consensus there. So very interesting communication this week. So now we're going to move on to the next point of the show, which is this week's energy forecast reading. So sit back, relax, take some notes if you need to, and enjoy this week's reading. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice and I'm a spiritual medium, and welcome to this week's energy forecast reading for the week commencing Monday, the 27th of November, 2023. Now, those of you that watched me work before will know that I connect with my spirit guides and helpers, and also link in with the wisdom of the angel tarot cards. What I'm about to do is just shuffle the pack and allow a card to come out. And wow, we have a jumper, another jumper this week. So this is your card for this week's energy forecast reading. I'm going to link into the vibration of this card. First of all, I feel as though this week is talking about you holding your nerve, keeping that resilience there, and not accepting things that do not align with your greatest good. And the way that you'll feel this is in your heart chakra. You'll notice this stirring, this connection, when something is absolutely meant and correct for you. So hold your nerve until you feel that feeling in your heart there as well. I also feel that this week is telling you to take more care of yourself mentally, emotionally, physically as well, as this week will see you actually saying no to other people, setting healthy boundaries around yourself, making yourself a priority for once. Because after all, if you don't look after you, then everybody around you doesn't benefit from your beautiful energy. So take stock and take note of these words. This week also sees you paying attention to inspiration. And I feel as though your attention will be drawn to certain topics and tasks this week. So rather than saying, I haven't got the time, I'm too busy, when you feel that inspiration, go with the flow with it, or at least take notes and write it down until you feel that it is in alignment with your time and your energy there. This week will also see you removing old negative patterns out of your life, out of your present moment. And what I'm talking about here, I'm talking about maybe ritualistic routines that you've carried on throughout the years, and you've just done it out of habit, basically. And now you've reached a point in your life where you're kind of analyzing everything, and you're thinking, well, actually, this doesn't serve me anymore. Why am I continually behaving and doing these things in this way? So we'll see, this could be something as simple as the way that you operate your day-to-day living, like getting up, going to work, blah, 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 coming back. This routine, something about you breaking a routine this week and stepping outside of that comfort zone. And again, this was going in alignment with trusting that vibration of your heart, as it will propel you forward on the direction. I also feel that this week will see your heart actually opening up to love. And I'm being told romantic love as well. So it doesn't matter what your position is, whether you're married, whether you're in a relationship, or whether you're single. There's going to be this stirring of love and romance in the heart. Maybe you're going to start and see things differently from that higher vibration of love, rather than seeing the negative aspects of things. So watch out for this, and rather than pushing it away, start and say yes. Yes to love, yes to life. So let's turn over the card for you. At the top of the card, we have the number 17. So I'd like you to research the angel number 17, as there's additional meaning and content in there for you for this week. I'm also being encouraged to tell you to add the 2 digits together. So 1 and 7 is 8. So research the angel number of number 8 as well. I feel that that is very on point for you. Underneath that, we have the words, the star. I feel as though this is talking about you taking your personal responsibility and taking your power back this week. It will see you actually recognizing yourself for who you are and seeing what value you add to the lives of others around you. Whereas before, you haven't seen this level of help that you offer. You just see yourself, well, that's just something that you do. You don't put a value on it. This week will actually see you putting a value on your time, on your energy. And it's telling you to look at yourself with gratitude, and also to look at yourself in a more higher regard than what you give yourself credit for. At the bottom of this card, it reads, inspiration, fulfillment, and faith. Wow. Well, this is talking exactly what my spirit team was saying there about you actually holding that space for inspiration to strike and recording the information, writing it down, putting it in a voice note, whichever suits you, until you are in alignment with it, until you have given yourself permission and time to go with the flow of that inspiration. It's also talking about you showing that level of gratitude for who you are as a person there. And this will go in alignment with that vibration of love there, wouldn't it, as well? Feeling contentment. And it's telling you to have faith. Like my guides were saying, hold your nerve, hold your nerve, hold your nerve. You're going to be tested this week, where you have to feel into a situation with your heart. When it feels in alignment with your heart, you will just have a knowing like no words can ever prompt you or describe. It will be a feeling like no other. So hold your nerve. It's about to come into fruition for you. Now, I say it because I'm referring to whatever your focused attention is on. It's coming your way. So be aware of that and embrace it with open arms. It feels very positive, very loving, and just what you need at this moment in time. So let's take a look into the artwork. As you can see around the card, we have the color of, it's a purple blue color around the edge. So to me, that represents sensitivity. It also represents being protected and inspired by your spirit guides and helpers, and also family and friends from the world of spirit. So take note of any nuances of activity within your home. And I'm not saying this to scare or intimidate you. I'm merely suggesting that there's going to be activity, little signs from your friends and family in the world of spirit this week that actually are going to make you smile and feel comforted that you're not on your own and they're there watching over you. So it's a beautiful feeling I'm feeling with this. Taking a look into the artwork of the card, we've got this masculine angelic being there, as you can see, and he has his wings down as well. So let's take a look at the symbology of that. First of all, the masculine is talking about taking charge. It's talking about putting things in boxes. It's talking about being the provider. But actually, as we look more into this symbolism, this angelic being has got the wings facing down there. So to me, well, I would say facing down, but half ready. So it's talking about resting. It's talking about ready to move while the iron's hot, and you will feel that in your heart. And as you can see, he's holding 2 jugs and there's lots of fluid coming out of there. So he's talking about releasing the old energy. Stop harboring and carrying all these burdens on your shoulders that aren't your vibration anymore. Let them go. You'll feel lighter, and then you'll be able to flow more with the inspiration that's being gifted to you from the world of spirit. Now there's, as you can see, he's wearing like a purpley blue robe there. That's talking about you're going to be spiritually influenced and led this week. There's a flowing stream there, so it's telling you to go with the flow and let those emotions flow out. There's blue in the background. That's talking about emotions. It's also talking about communicating as well there. So watch out for clearly communicating this week. And again, it's telling you to reach for the stars. You are the star, in fact. Once you realize that you are the star, the world and the universe is your oyster. So be open to saying yes to life more so. And I'm being told the worst is behind you. You've come over a lot of hurdles. The worst is behind you. Accept a change in your routine this week, as it will be for the betterment of not only you, but your family and those people that are close to you at this moment in time. So that's what I'm picking up for you for this week's energy forecast reading. Thank you for hearting, liking, commenting and sharing. If you've enjoyed what you've seen on here and you would like to support the work that I do, I have got a Buy Me a Coffee link, which is a virtual tip jar, and there's a link above or below this video. So if you feel compelled to support the work that I do, all of your donations will be gratefully received and used in accordance to help people ascend and spiritually develop there as well. If you would like any of my personal services, such as one-to-one private readings, head over to my website, www.GlennBoddice.Spiritual or you can find me on Facebook, Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium. Join me every Monday, 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, with my radio show From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, talking about all things spiritual, paranormal, and self-help at www.pulsetalkradio.com. In the meantime, have a blessed week. Bye for now.
Well, it sounds like we're all set for a very evolutionary week ahead, doesn't it? So I hope that has resonated with you on some level and is going to help you through the course of this week, or the twists and turns of it anyway. As ever, it's been a pleasure to have that conversation with the co-host, Kristina Bloom, this week. Really enjoy our connections and our deep dives and conversations there. And it's nice to hear an alternative viewpoint from across the pond there in the United States of America. So thank you once again, Kristina. I hope you've enjoyed this week's show. If you have any show suggestions, any ideas, or even if you want to share some of your own personal experiences of a paranormal nature, or if it's something to do with your spiritual ascension or self-help or whatever, it'd be wonderful to hear from you. And you can contact me by going over to my website, www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can email me at glennboddice@live.co.uk. And as ever, it would be fantastic to read some of your encounters out on the show if you're willing for me to do that. So have a wonderful week, whatever it is you have planned and what you're doing it. Do it with love and light, and follow your heart and your bliss as well. Join me the same place next Monday, 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, on www.pulsetalkradio.com with this very show, From Beyond with Glenn Boddice. Take care. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to From Beyond
For more information about what products and services Glenn provides, go to glennboddicespiritualmedium.com.